Hey guys, so I wanted to do this video, and no, it's not one of the videos that's going to be set to premiere a week in advance, but I wanted to do a video here where, I want to talk about, because I know some people have talked about it already, but this is just what I want to talk about, when it comes to like some of the movies that are still yet to be released in theaters, or even direct to streaming, or both, that are going to be coming out this year. So I thought I'd basically take this opportunity to talk about some of the ones that I'm looking forward to seeing, whether it's in theaters theatrically, or it's direct to streaming and everything, or maybe a combination of both, whether in theaters first briefly and then coming to streaming. I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk about the ones that, and I'm getting a little tongue-tied there, I do apologize, the ones that I want to take an opportunity to watch and see if maybe I might be into it. And the way they're being promoted right now definitely feels like these could be ones that I will definitely want to check out come the rest of this year, like the summer, the fall, Christmas, you name it. So with that said, let's talk about, or let me talk about and show you, and maybe you agree with me on some of these, as to what I'm looking forward to this year to try to catch a glimpse of theatrically, direct to streaming, or maybe even a combination of both, if not more than the other. So let's talk about these movies, shall we? So the first one I want to talk about, and yes, a lot of the logos will be on the screen, so they represent what I'm talking about, is Frankenstein. This movie, of course, by Guillermo del Toro. I'll put it that way, del Toro. Guillermo del Toro. I can't pronounce his first name. I don't know why I have problems with that. But anyway, del Toro is going to be releasing through Netflix this November Frankenstein, his take on the Frankenstein story and everything. And just based off the trailer that Netflix premiered about a week ago or so, mostly to tie in with the Tadum event and everything, from what I saw, and everybody feels the same way, this is definitely something you got to check out. Whether or not you're a fan of a certain interpretation, film-wise or animation-wise or whatever, book-wise, comic book-wise, of the character, a lot of people have agreed that this is definitely an adaptation, a version that you have to check out when it comes out to Netflix in November. Although Del Toro has said, Guillermo del Toro, again, easy for me to say, from what he has said, it will have a brief theatrical run. My assumption, my guess, is the theatrical run will be basically around Halloween time and maybe the first week or two of November. And then I'm assuming, because they didn't give a specific date of its release on Netflix, but I'm going to assume it's going to be around Thanksgiving. So around Thanksgiving time, you're going to be seeing the Del Toro version of Frankenstein, and like I said, it looks really, really good. It's got that dark ambience to it, and definitely is going to be played up more for the horror and the shock value at times. The one thing I'm hoping they don't do, but then again, this is going to have an R rating, is there's a part in the trailer where basically they have Oscar Isaac's character of Victor Frankenstein in what looks like to be the Arctic or Alaska or somewhere, and he's getting pursued by the monster, and you have him surrounded. I wouldn't say totally surrounded, but you see him around some huskies, some snow dogs, and I'm hoping Del Toro doesn't do what I think he's going to do, because if this is going to be a streaming movie, I think, that would be less likely, because it's going to be direct to streaming and everything, or mostly direct to streaming, so hopefully he won't do that. We might hear something that is disturbing, but because based on the ending of the trailer where we see the monster, he's like wearing some kind of fur and everything to keep him warm, or keep himself warm, so hopefully if something does happen, like to the huskies or the snow dogs and everything, it doesn't happen on camera. I don't think anybody would want to see that, and hopefully it just happens off camera, or maybe he just has the animals just scatter in fear, because even they're afraid of whatever this thing is. So That's one thing I'm hoping we don't see in this movie. I'm hoping we don't see that. But it's going to be really interesting, to say the least, when it comes out, because Del Toro likes to do these different interpretations of movie monsters and everything, even under different names and maybe even revisions. So it's going to be interesting to see what his take's going to be. But honestly, the trailer has got me hyped. The trailer has got me hyped and everything. I'm surprised that Joe Vargas, Angry Joe, hasn't done a review on it yet. Or not a review, but a reaction to it. So hopefully he might do that soon. If he didn't do it already, do it a live Q&A. But I'm looking forward to it. It's one of those films that, you look at someone like me and you kind of tell that I'm not too much into horror. But if it's the right kind of horror, mainly it's like a horror that it might have a little bit of disturbingness in it, but it's mostly like, a film that, you just watch and like, hey, it's got horror, but it's suitable for just about everybody, even though it's got an R rating. To me, this kind of falls in that category of being one of those films. It definitely falls in that category of being one of those films. So I'm looking forward to it when it comes out. And just to see how like dark and twisted Del Toro can take the monster, can take the story. But I like the fact that and everybody has said that he's focusing on not just the monster, which will probably come later on in the film, but he's mostly focusing on Victor, on how he came to be with the idea to go this route. And I like the different interpretation, because he's not going that classic 1930s Universal route, or the route that sometimes we see and read in the different interpretations of Frankenstein on television, on screen, or in books. Instead, he's going a route that's, it's paying homage, but it's more like, showing how far, Victor Frankenstein is willing to go to basically play God in everything, to try to, I guess as he puts it in the trailer, seeking life. Seeking life basically, because he says at the end of the trailer, in seeking life, he created death. Because I don't know what the reasoning was. We do know that Maya Goth, who's in the film, her character, I think, dies because they show her, later on in the trailer, she's alive. She's got this green outfit on, this green dress on with the green veil. But then before that, we kind of see her all pale and everything, and she's in a coffin being carried to be buried and everything. And then throughout the trailer, we see Victor going to all these areas. Like, you have soldiers and horses frozen and all that. And he's just like, I guess he's looking for something, looking for parts. And then you look inside, his laboratory, and you see all these dead bodies, all these corpses. And obviously he's using them to build the Frankenstein monster. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how far Del Toro goes with this. How much more, I guess you could say, dark and gothic and horrific he could go. Because again, he's done this with Shape of Water. He's done this with Pan's Labyrinth. He did it with the stop motion Pinocchio. He's not afraid to go, too far. He's not afraid to go too far. When it comes to doing his different adaptations or interpretations of classic classic stories, whether they're family friendly or the more horrific in nature and all that and everything. So he's not too he's not too afraid, if not afraid at all, to go that far. But I'm looking forward to it come November and everything. And I think the theatrical run it's going to have is going to go from Halloween time to at least about the first or second full week of November, and then that's when it's going to drop in time for Thanksgiving on Netflix. That's just my opinion on when I think it's going to release in that release date wise in that order, I should say. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that. And now we're going to get on to the next one. I'm looking forward to seeing theatrically in theaters, if not having to wait maybe a little later on for a release on streaming and physical media. Alright, so the next one I'm looking forward to also comes out in November, and of course that is Zootopia 2. I already did my own thoughts on this and everything. To me, this is going to be a great film, for Disney. This is going to be a big, huge box office hit for them. this has got a lot of interesting elements because obviously it takes place maybe a few years later. Because you have Judy and Nick in partner therapy, so you obviously know something's kind of gone awry, like something is, causing some tension and all that, or maybe some disagreements. And as I said in my audio reaction, I think what it is Nick, even about a year, again, we don't know what the timeline is, but we could assume maybe it's been a year, a couple years. But to me, it's like Nick is still more accustomed to doing things, the way he knows how to do them, hustling and stuff like that, taking a shortcut. And Judy, more along the lines, wants to be somebody that follows the rules, follows the law and everything, goes by the book, or at least tries to. And I think that's where that disagreement comes in. Now, you would think, as I believe I said in the audio reaction, you would think she would understand, hey, this is how Nick is, and it has worked, why she would not be, for that. And again, I think it's more about her wanting to go up the ranks, her and Nick to go up the ranks together. And if he keeps pulling this kind of stuff, going back to what he was before, it's not going to help them. And I think that's what they're going to learn to kind of get together. Then you got the scary snake coming in and all that. That's going to be interesting because it obviously looks like he's going to be working with them to clear his name and all that. And we're definitely going to have a return of some fan favorites. I mean, we're going to get Shakira back as Gazelle. We're going to get Dawn Bellwether, if you will. She's back as well. So it's going to be interesting, and we do get kind of a glimpse in the teaser of who the villain might be. And Bellwether, she might be in cahoots with them. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to the film. Honestly, I really am. I'm looking forward to how things, kind of get brought back, because it's a Disney film, and in a Disney film with these kind of situations, things turn out all right in the end, and hopefully we'll see how that manifests itself throughout, and how the snake guy plays a role in it. I mean, I even joked about the fact that one thing they're going to probably do with this film is they're going to do some callbacks to the original, and one of those callbacks I think they're going to do to probably get some more information as to what's going on is they're going to do some fake outs. They're going to do things that will make it look like, hey, make it look like, hey, Gary is all predator and everything. He did this to prove it, and that he's going to help them sneak in and find out exactly what's going on, or at least get the information they need to find out what's going on. And I've always felt like one of the things they might do is they might have Judy basically allow herself to get swallowed by Gary just to prove a point. Because he's only got one thing I have to correct myself on with the audio from the audio reaction is he does have one fang, I think. So that kind of alludes to the fact that he's not totally a predator that would want to eat meat. He's more like a vegetarian. Because that's what I've heard. I think when this movie was on the verge of having its first teaser released, he's more of a vegetarian, but he's got one fang. I could see because of that he'd be willing to swallow Judy, not whole, but swallow her enough to where, to prove, hey, to kind of fool whoever the antagonist is of, hey, look, I'm a predator, I'm on your side. He turns around and we see this visage, this bodily visage of Judy inside of him, and she has to hold her breath and everything, knowing that, she's going to be in there for about a bit until the coast is clear, and then he'll have to spit her out and be like, okay, they're gone, blah, out she comes, and, thus he'll go and, get that information that they need or something like that. Or they'll find a way to get the information, either if they have to wire him, or not wire him, but put some kind of communication thing, on him that allows him to get that information and everything, to find out what's going on, to find out as to why he's in Zootopia, who this individual, this villain is, are they tied, do they have ties with Bellwether and all that. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I do predict something like that may be happening. And I know some of you say, well, and I know, not say, but I know some of you are asking, well, how do you know that Disney would do that? That doesn't sound like Disney. Again, this is Zootopia. This is Zootopia. This is the kind of film and franchise that could do something like that and play it for laughs, but also make it part of the, but also have it be part of the story. Like, it's played for laughs, but it's part of the story. That's how I look at it. But Zootopia 2, I'm looking forward to that. I love the first movie. You know, obviously I'm a big Zootopia fan, in case you guys don't know. In fact, let me just show you what I mean. I'll bring her out. I'm a big Zootopia fan. Here's Judy. Right here is my Judy plush and everything. Put her back. And then, of course, hopefully without an issue here, got my Gazelle one as well. And then I have a Gazelle figure, the singing figure, in my closet, as well as I have the Zootopia poster with Judy and Nick. And I have a few other things Zootopia-wise as well. I even have the Disney Infinity figures on them as well. So yeah, I love Zootopia. I really do. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing how this movie plays out, and kind of takes inspiration from the first one, as well as tries to go down its own route, if you will. But that's just my take on Zootopia 2, and and it being one of the movies I'm looking forward to seeing this year on the big screen, if not on Disney Plus. But let me know what your thoughts are. Are you looking forward to it? And now let's get on to the next one. Alright, so this one I want to see because, first of all, I do have to get the second movie as well. I do have the first movie twice on physical media, Blu-ray. I have the collector's edition, if you will, the big, I guess you could say, I wouldn't say box, but more of the deluxe set, if you will, as well as I got it on regular Blu-ray. And again, I have to get the other one as well, which is The Way of Water. So I'm going to get that as well, but I'm also looking forward to the third one here, which is Avatar: Fire and Ice. This definitely feels like it's going to be, to me, if the way it's being promoted and being presented, to me it feels like it's going to be an Oscar winner. Well, not an Oscar winner, but Oscar nominated. It's going to be something that it's going to be released in time for Oscar season, for award season, and I could see it, if, again, the way it's being presented, I could see it being nominated, not only for for the best effects and all that, but I could see it being nominated maybe for Best Picture, because James Cameron just knows how to do a film like this and really get it in position to be considered for award season and all that going forward. But yeah, this is definitely one of the movies that everybody's looking forward to this year when it comes to the films and everything. They're looking forward to this film, because of the fact that they know, like I said, James Cameron knows how to bring it with these kind of movies, but also the fact that it's expanding. It's kind of expanding on the Avatar world and the lore, and basically introducing the fact that there are more Avatar tribes out there. Some that are good, some that are not, some that are just about business, some that are about, expansion and all that. So I'm looking forward to this when it comes out this year. And yeah, it's going to be one of those films that if you're a popcorn fan, a popcorn bucket fan, you're going to have a variety of popcorn buckets with these, with this film. You're going to get a variety of them no matter what. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Avatar: Fire and Ash, and can't wait to see how it expands more in the Avatar universe and everything. And who knows, maybe this might be the one that kickstarts maybe Disney creating an Avatar animated series, and not one that's, and don't worry, it's not going to be an Avatar animated series that's like, oh, are they trying to rip off Nickelodeon? No, this is an Avatar animated series, or this would be an animated series based in the James Cameron Avatar. So they would have to make that distinction clear if they were to do it. But I think this movie, along with the last movie and the first movie, I think are setting the tables for us to potentially get a James Cameron Avatar animated feature, animated series, on Disney Plus. But let me know what your thoughts are. Are you looking forward to Avatar: Fire and Ash? What do you think they're going to bring to the table with it, besides the introduction of new Avatar tribes, and all that, and the different, kind of tribes they are? Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. And now on to the next one, shall we? Alright, so the next one is one I'm definitely looking forward to because it comes out next month, and it comes out 2 weeks before I turn 46. And that, of course, is Superman Legacy, or just Superman, if you will. And the trailer, I've seen the first trailer, I thought was good. The second trailer is really good. To me, James Gunn, when it comes to the DC studios, the DCU movies that are that are going to be released theatrically, the DC projects, I should say, that are going to be released theatrically, I think James Gunn is hitting it out of the park the right way. He's starting off the right way with Superman. To me, both trailers, mostly the second one, is really giving you the idea of, not only does James Gunn understand who Superman is, but he also understands the fact that we already know the origin, and that all we need to do is maybe be given a bit of a recap and flashback, and just go from there. And I think that's what we're going to get throughout the film. We're going to get like a recap and flashback of how he became Superman and all that up until the present day, and everything. So I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be next month for me, as far as like movies during my birthday month, is going to be a great month. There's no doubt. I mean, we got this one, and then we got one I'm going to be talking about in a bit as well, coming out, and I can't wait to see both of them. I cannot wait, because, to me, when I look at this trailer for Superman, for James Gunn's Superman, to me, not only does the music they use for the teaser for these trailers identical to the John Williams one, but to me, it captures the essence of what those original Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner films, or at least the first two films anyway, were about. Even the third film was okay, and the fourth film was alright, but basically this does capture the essence of what the first two were really about, and I cannot wait to really, enjoy myself here watching this film, and I will be buying a popcorn bucket to have as a souvenir, because again, this has got my attention. This has got me hyped. This has got me ready. I mean, the addition of, the other heroes that are basically heroes for hire and everything, the Justice Gang, if you will. I like that. I like the fact that they're going that route for them, because what it does essentially, especially with the series connecting, somewhat to, according to rumors and speculations based off, early screenings, basically, the way they're setting it up, I don't think this Justice Gang is going to last long. I think the Justice Gang is only going to last maybe up till the furthest I could be seeing Supergirl and everything, because that's a movie coming out next year as well. So I could see it going that far. Maybe the earliest I see it coming to an end in story would be the Green Lantern Corps show. I could see that. But I don't think the Justice Gang is going to last too much longer. And like I said, if they don't end in Superman, which it doesn't sound like they will, I could definitely see it ending between the Green Lantern show, the Peacemaker Season 2 show, and Supergirl. That's when I see it potentially coming to an end. But I'm really looking forward to this and all that. I'm really looking forward to it. And they are just, the people they got to portray the characters, they are just hitting it out of the park and everything. And it's got my attention. It's got me hyped. And again, it feels very, very reminiscent of the original Christopher Reeve, Richard Donner films, the first two. And I cannot wait to go to the theaters and, like I say, buy a popcorn bucket and enjoy myself watching this film. But let me know what your thoughts are, and let's get on to the next one. So the next one I'm looking at is a remake. I wouldn't say totally a remake. It's like a soft reboot continuation of the original film series, and that is The Naked Gun, this time with Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson? Yeah, I think that's what it's not Leslie Nielsen. Liam Neeson, that's who it is. Not Nielsen. Liam Neeson. But yeah, this one, it's also going to have Pamela Anderson in there. Obviously, it's a love interest for Liam's character. Just like they had, I can't think of her name right now, was the love interest for Leslie Nielsen's character in the original trilogy. But this, again, is like a soft reboot. It's a continuation, somewhat of a soft reboot continuation. The teaser trailer definitely does give off the vibes of the original. But it definitely feels like they're going to go it's definitely going to go more of a raunchy, violent route than the original. Because the original was more PG-13. This one feels like it's going to be very R. It's going to be an R-rated film, maybe. Because, again, based on what they showed in the trailer and everything, or the first teaser trailer, I'm sure they're going to show off more come San Diego Comic-Con. And when they do, and that trailer comes out, we'll probably have a better idea of what rating they're going to go with. But based on the first teaser trailer, I'm thinking it's going to be it's not going to be a hard R. It's going to be more of a raunchy R. It's going to be like that kind of R rating that, you know, you're going to have your violence, you're going to have your comedy, but you're also going to have your raunchy comedy if they do what I think they're going to do with Pamela and Liam's characters, I should say, as well as any other characters. But to me, it definitely feels like they're trying to stay true to the original slapstick, you know, the parody slapstick and everything of, you know, the original trilogy and everything. They're trying to stay true. Excuse me, that got a little tongue-tied. They're trying to stay true to it. So it's going to be interesting to see how Liam takes to it. It looks like he's taking to it very well based on the first trailer, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. But like I said, I think R rating wise, it's going to be, I think rating wise, I should say, it's going to be R rated. And it's going to be maybe an R rating that's kind of borderline on the violence and the comedy and the raunchiness. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, I could be wrong. But if you're going to have Pamela Anderson in there as the potential love interest, and obviously she's known for her sex appeal, then I'm definitely feeling like, you know, they're going to not only have kind of a scene between them that will, I wouldn't say would be raunchy, but kind of parody the raunchiness you would expect. I definitely feel like if you're going to have her in there and she's known for that, you know, the sex appeal, that they're going to have to really over-exaggerate the parody on the raunchiness to where it would basically be more worthy of getting that R rating because of the raunchiness, even if it's a parody and all that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this out and see how Liam Neeson portrays the son, if you will, Leslie Nielsen's character, and how Pamela portrays, you know, the love interest and all that. I don't know if they'll remake or redo certain scenes like from the first one, like when both Leslie and again, I can't think of the actress's name, who was a love interest, but both of them kind of made out while wearing, like, you know, human-sized condom outfits or whatever. I don't know if they're going to basically, you know, have them reenact that or redo that. I mean, my thought process is this, you know, if you're going to have this be a modern, you know, soft reboot continuation take on the story, you know, then I think, honestly, one of the more comedic things they should do, especially with the technology they have, is you should have Pamela's character melt. I think, honestly, if you really want to get funny and everything, do something that they never did in the original trilogy, you know, and that's, you know, because they never had, as far as I know, they never had the love interest for Leslie Nielsen's character. They never had them melt in either one of the three films. So I think if you have Pamela's character do that in this film, I think that'll definitely be worth it, especially with today's technology and everything. And then you could just have, like, you know, maybe Liam's gonna go get something to scoop her up, and all of a sudden she just pops up and everything and all that. So that'd be, and then she could just tackle him and then get, you know, kind of like parody way, you know, satire way, kind of have her way with him. So yeah, I think they should do that, and maybe they have, I'm not really sure, but I definitely feel like if they're going to go that route to where, you know, they kind of like seemingly get it on with each other, it's going to be a satire and a parody on the raunchiness that, you know, into the, you know, the sex appeal that Pamela is known for and what people fantasize about her, even to this day, and even back then. That I think that's basically what we're going to get. It's kind of like a parody on the raunchiness that went through people's minds then and now, based on wanting to be with someone like Pamela. But we'll see what they do. I'll check it out, no doubt. In my opinion, no doubt, I will check it out and see what it has to offer, and see again if it's going to be a decent, soft rebooted continuation of the story and everything, and how Liam Neeson approaches it with being the son, being portrayed as the son of Leslie Nielsen's character. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys, on it, and let's get on to the next film, shall we? So this one I wasn't even aware of happening, but it's directed by M.G. Bassett, and it's coming soon. Right now, Google has it under the 2005 release watch. Now that could change, and it could go to 2026. but it's definitely on my radar to check out, and that is Red Sonja. Red Sonja, of course, is a character based somewhat in the Conan, sort of, I should say, in the Conan the Barbarian universe. She's had her own movie back in the 80s. She has her own comic book series, or had her own comic book series by Marvel. And essentially, she's just a female equivalent to Conan the Barbarian. She's essentially like She-Ra. She's like She-Ra is to He-Man. Excuse me, if you will. She's sort of like that, in a sense. So, again, I don't know if it's going to be coming out this year. Right now, like I said, Google has it under the 2025 release watch. I don't know if it's already been released. If it's one of those movies that's direct to streaming or video, I don't know. I've never seen it, on Fandango at home. I've never seen it on any of the streaming platforms, so it still might be on the verge of being released. But I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna probably check it out, see what it's like, and everything, and hope that it might be decent. Hopefully, hope it might be decent going forward and all that. But like I said, they have it under their Google, that is, has it under the 2025 release window, but they don't have no like date or month of its release, so it's still up in the air as to when and where it will be released this year, if at all. If it's gotten pushed back to 2026, let me know and everything. But yeah, I'm thinking we're looking at a movie that if it's not out by the end of this year, it's a 2026 release. But even then, I'm looking forward to it. Might check it out, if you will. It might be better than you think. It might be better than you think. But let me know what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts on Red Sonja? And do you think it's coming out this year, or is it coming out next year? Let me know, and let's get on to the next film here, shall we? Alright, so the next one here is The Bad Guys 2. I have the original Bad Guys movie. That one I'm actually cool. I actually think it's good. Especially like anybody, I like Diane's character and Diane Foxington's character. I mean, you talk about a mayor that basically has a secret, being the original greatest thief in the world, the Crimson Paw, and being a badass at the same time. You can't ask for anything more. And then you having her associate with the bad guy team, and the Wolf and all them. I think that was just a recipe for a successful film, and it was. And now we're going to get the second one, but this one's an interesting twist, because now you're introducing a group of female thieves called the Bad Girls, and one of them, who's a pigeon. I don't know, I think her name's Lady Death or something. I'm not really sure, but she's a pigeon, and she starts a relationship with Snake. And one of the things we see in one of the first trailers is them making out, and her head is literally in his mouth. And I'm thinking, what are they going to do? Give us like a vor scene, if you will, like a very intimate vor scene where she'll go into Snake, let herself be inside of him for a bit, then come back out? Who knows? That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, the Bad Guys 2, I think, looks really interesting. Yeah, they're gonna, and yes, if you're wondering, Diane's gonna be in it. And I don't know how much of a role she's gonna have, but it definitely feels like there's gonna be a connection with her and the Bad Girls, because this is supposed to take place a few years later. And the bad guys are trying to settle into society. They're trying to get adjusted to normalcy and everything. And basically based on their reputation, it's kind of hard for them to find work in certain areas like banks and all that. I mean, there's one part in the trailer, or one of the trailers, where Wolf tries to get a job at a bank, and the guy's like, "You want to work here?" And Wolf's like, "Yeah, why?" And the guy has to be like, "You robbed us 3 times or 100 times or something like that." And Wolf has to be, and it's like suddenly Wolf kind of like gets this realization, like, oh, it was that was this bank, because he had done so many robberies and all that. So that was kind of funny. I think this will be interesting to see when it comes out. I think fans are going to be in for a surprise here, because it may not be as good as the first film, but it definitely feels like it's going to have the legs needed to maybe get a third film, going afterwards, or maybe even set the stage for a Bad Guys animated series. But we'll see. But I'm going to check it out. I'm going to really check it out and see, what it has to deliver. Again, I have the first film on 4K, so I'm definitely and digital, because the 4K came with a digital code. So I'm looking forward to checking out the follow-up and seeing exactly what we get here. And again, I think there's going to be a connection between Diane and the bad girls. Like maybe, I think, what's her name? The lead is Miss Kitty or something like that. I think there's a history between them, maybe, and I think maybe Miss Kitty knows who Diane really was and all that. So maybe she knows she was the Crimson Paw, but we'll see. We'll see what they do in the long run. But I'm gonna check this out. I'm looking forward to it. What are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to it as well? Let me know. And on to the next film. Okay, so the next one is Jurassic World Rebirth. It follows after the last Jurassic World. This is just basically continuing on with a more softly rebooted, modernized version of the Jurassic franchise. It looks interesting. It really looks interesting, and it's also coming out in July. So July is going to be a crazy month. I mean, one movie I'm not talking about is the Smurfs, because I don't think it's going to last too long in the theaters. But then again, I could be wrong. But that's also coming out in July. So my birthday month is really being filled up with a lot of movies that I might check out. I might just wait to see later on. But still, Jurassic World is one of them to where I might want to see that too. Again, I've seen the Jurassic Park movies, especially the original. Saw that when it first came out in theaters. And I'm definitely going to think about checking this one out as well and seeing exactly what goes from there, and if it sets up maybe for another Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movie in the future. But it definitely feels like what these recent Jurassic World films, that they've been getting back to the roots of what made Jurassic Park as a franchise good, and they're just expanding on it. So I'm definitely looking forward to it and might check it out. If I don't, I'll just wait for it to come out on Peacock, because that's going to be one of the first places it lands after the theaters, and you know that as well as I do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and or at least looking forward to checking it out at some time, but this year. But let me know what your thoughts are. Are you looking forward to checking out Jurassic Park? Not Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World Rebirth? Let me know. And now let's get on to another film that just recently came out via Hulu and Disney Plus, and I think it's one I might check out, even though I've never really seen many of the live-action films. Okay, so the next one just came out recently on Hulu via Disney Plus, and that is Predator: Killer of Killers. It is an animated anthology film, basically following different predators through different timelines, going up against samurais, they're going up against military, army, and all that. So it looks really interesting. A lot of people have been praising it and all that as being, something that it feels like it's going back to the roots of what made the Predator franchise good, and it's being done in animated form. So I'm definitely going to try to check that out later on and everything. But yeah, it definitely feels like it's a film that it could have been given a theatrical release, but because it's an anthology film, I think Disney and Fox felt more protective of, yeah, we could have put it in the theaters, but then again, it may have not done so well, so let's just put it on Hulu and see what happens. And obviously, it's just blowing everybody's mind. Again, it's got a predator going through different predators, I should say, going through different timelines. Samurai, World War II, I think even the future or something like that. I'm not really sure, but it definitely is worth. It definitely looks like it's worth watching and checking out, and I'm gonna do that because I've seen some movies with animated violence in it, some very, very disturbing violence. But I think this is a film that I could, even though it might be violent, it might be a little squeamish at times, I could definitely check out and enjoy. It's basically, it sounds like it's a popcorn flick, but you could watch it at home at any time. So definitely looking forward to checking that out on Hulu. It's not for everybody, but for me, it might be something I could really sink my teeth into. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you've checked it out or going to check it out, and let's get on to the final film. Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about is Fantastic Four: First Steps. This one is coming out on my birthday, believe it or not. Yeah, got Superman 2 weeks before, And then on my birthday, we got Fantastic Four First Steps. Couldn't ask for a better birthday month when it comes to movies I'm looking forward to. Now, I know people are already saying through reports that pretty much this movie's doomed from the get-go because Sue Storm's being presented as the lead, the Invisible Woman being presented as the lead. You have the female Silver Surfer and everything being in there as well. And look, it doesn't matter who they portray as the leader, because you got to remember, again, this is taking place in an alternate standalone universe where the Fantastic Four are the only heroes. So you got to remember that. And I think if you remember that, if you kind of keep that in mind, it shouldn't be a bother. And from what I'm seeing, I'm definitely gonna, I'll be enjoying this. I think this might be, despite the criticism, this might be the best of the three. This might, or not, I wouldn't say three, but this could be the best of the recent Fantastic Four films. It could be the best out of the first two that came out in the mid-2000s, and the best of the more recent one that was more darker and grittier and kind of rearranged the whole relationship between Sue Storm and Johnny Storm and made them step-siblings or something like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to how they interpret this. You can definitely feel it's got that MCU vibe to it, like it's got that classic MCU vibe to it, and I like that they're incorporating a lot of things from the Fantastic Four media lore, adaptation lore. You got Herbie in there as well, so the Herbie robot. So I'm looking. I know I'm saying this a lot in this video, but I'm getting tongue-tied here, guys. I do apologize. I'm getting tongue-tied. I do apologize, but like I said, I'm looking forward to this in a big way. And this might be, despite how you're hearing things right now, reports-wise and everything, this might be the film that reignites, people's love for the MCU and all that, and especially if it's going to be the first of the films that leads into Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, and Secret Wars, which is rumored, Secret Wars that is, along with Doomsday, is rumored to basically reboot, or softly reboot, the MCU as a whole, and kind of give it like a fresh coat of paint going forward into the phases that follow. But yeah, this film I'm definitely looking forward to on my birthday, and it's going to be a birthday gift to myself, to me. When I tell my family this is going to be coming out on my birthday, it's going to be like, oh great, so we got Superman to watch 2 weeks before, and now we got Fantastic Four. You can't get any better than that, and I'm looking forward to it. And just like with Superman, I'm probably going to buy myself a popcorn bucket with this. I know they got some popcorn buckets out there that are affordable and everything. I think the one that Regal is going to be selling is a fantastic car, so I'll look into that. But I cannot wait to see this. It's going to be I think it's going to be a fun movie and everything. And the way it's being portrayed, especially if you watch Thunderbolts and everything, or New Avengers as they call it now, you can definitely tell that you can kind of get an idea of how this movie's going to end and lead into that ending. We got that end credits ending with them showing up in the MCU world, if you will, of the Thunderbolts, New Avengers, and everybody else. I think you can kind of have an idea of how this movie's going to end, but then again, it might be something different. I know Kevin Feige's trying to throw us off a little bit, make us keep guessing, and that's a good thing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, but definitely it's on my radar to be seen on my birthday, if I'm here. I may be out of state visiting family, who knows. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Are you looking forward to Fantastic Four First Steps? And what are your thoughts on the fact that, two movies that are being hyped up from both different studios and different comic book establishments are coming out during a month of a birthday like mine? What are your thoughts on that? Has that happened with you guys? And let me know. And now, on to the next film. Okay, so the final film, it should be obvious for anybody. It's Michael. I think it's still at least the first part of the film, because now it's been announced or it was recently announced it's going to be 2 parts. So the first part's coming out this year. I think it's still coming out this year, as far as I know. They have, again, Google, just like with Red Sonja, has it on its release calendar for 2025, and it's supposed to be around the holiday season 2025. So we'll see if that's going to remain as is. But I'm looking forward to this film because I've grown up with Michael Jackson's music. My grandpa would play it in his home and all that, and that's how I got into it. I've got a majority of his albums, basically, that he put out, so I'm really looking forward to checking this movie out because we've seen a lot of different biography takes on the Jackson family and Michael himself, but this is being done with an actual family member, his nephew, who, when people said he took on that role and put on the makeup and everything, he basically became Michael reincarnated, essentially. So I'm looking forward to checking the first part out, and then later on the second part, to see how they really bring his life story to life, especially using in a family member of the same blood and everything, basically his nephew, which a lot of people, like I said, spoke highly of him basically becoming Michael reincarnated. So I'm looking forward to it and everything. Of course, there was reports that it got delayed a little bit. Again, I don't know if it affects the 2025 release of the first part, but one of the things that made it delayed is they did something. They put a film. I think it was during one of the screenings. Well, it was still being worked on and all that, kind of still being the work in progress screening. That they had a scene in there, or had an acknowledgement of something that happened that was agreed upon would not be talked about and everything, even in any biography, book-wise or media-wise or anything like that. So that kind of delayed it a little bit to where they had to essentially either take that out, or they had to refilm that scene. They had to re-edit that scene to where what was not supposed to be what was mentioned and not supposed to be mentioned is now probably reworked to where it's basically talked about in a different way. It acknowledges it, but it doesn't acknowledge it by name. Like, it's now looked at as something totally different or something like that. I'm not really sure. But I'm looking forward to the film, and I can't wait to see it again. Grew up with the music and all that. I have a lithograph up here, if you will, as well. And again, I have his music. I have a couple of t-shirts that I bought off Amazon. I bought off Amazon and everything with his image in it. So I'm looking forward to it when it comes out. It's probably going to be a long movie. I'm not saying it will be. So, some are looking at some of the films that are coming out being long. This might be a long one too, and that's why they're splitting it in two parts. But we'll see what happens. And I think, again, the revising they had to do because that one situation is the other reason it's split into two parts as well. But also, I think it's because Michael's story is just too big. It's just too big to tell in just one 2-hour, 3-hour film. You basically gotta spread it across and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. It's one film that if I have to buy a bus ticket to go to Turtle Rock, to go to Regal Theaters and watch it on my own, I will. I will do that. So yeah, that's about it, guys, and that's all I'm gonna say for this video and the movies I plan to hopefully check out theatrically, if not when they come to home video, if not to streaming and all that. But let me know what your thoughts are. What are the films, which ones, I should say, out of the films I mentioned, are you looking forward to this year to check out theatrically, or as soon as they hit streaming or digital and physical? Let me know. Love to hear from each and every one of you on that. And until next time, guys, take care. God bless. Do me a favor, like the video, ring the bell for notification, subscribe to the channel, share the video, click on the links in the description. Helps me out big time, guys. But let me know what your thoughts are on all the movies I've mentioned here. Again, which ones are you looking forward to this year to see theatrically or at home when they come out on streaming or digital and physical media? Let me know. And until then, I'm out.